Oh, you ain't see the nights I doubted myself, had to pick it up. When the dream itself, it got too heavy, had to lift it up. Had to bury all the pain I had to zip it up. My anxiety keep trying me, I had to rip it up. No matter the cost, no, I gotta go get it. Run this race till I know that it's finished. Ain't no breaks, but that's bad for the business. Talking cheap, so they all about to witness. What it's like to get it out the mud, off the muscle, Run it back until they had enough. And when it's up, it's stuck. Pay your dues, break the rules, never lose. Always know it's always win. Knock me down, I get back up, I understand it now. Fail, not again. They wanted me to give up on the dream I had to tell the hater, look, it's not a chance. You can never ever knock me off the course, I know that God, he has some other plans. Whoa. Hard way to fly. You can never stop me.
We made it. We're here. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Daryl. Okay, I'm gonna warn you. I am very honest. I speak my mind. I don't know how to be anything different. You know, my mom tried to beat it out of me when I was younger. Every time I would talk back to her, she'd be like, boy, well, stop talking back to me, you know what I mean? And I just always had a comeback, always had something to say. And I was just honest. I was like, Mom, you're wrong, you know what I mean? And so I've got to say something that's honest. My wife is going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you opened this way. But can I just acknowledge, last time, so first of all, this is our second type of this event, okay? So give it up for that, okay? And thank you for everybody who's helped make it possible. It's not our event anymore. Second thing, I am so happy that there are some black people in the room. Come on. So just to be context, okay? I'm from Michigan. We moved to Atlanta. We lived there for 7 years. So y'all know Atlanta is not Franklin, okay? And God called us to Franklin, and I'm like looking, and this is like maybe I'll just tell a story. I won't divide us by race. But the hardest thing to find in an all-white community is a barbershop. And so I'm like looking. I find the one black barbershop in town. I walk through the doors. My man's looked at me like I came home from Africa. He was like, "You in the right place, bro. You in the right place." True story, man. True story. But I'm glad about that because here's the thing. Diversity only happens with intentionality. Yep. And there's so many people who want to talk it. They want to preach it. Oh, they might even want to. I worked at a university, and it was predominantly white. And every time they wanted to take a diversity photo, I mean, your boy is all over the campus. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even photogenic. They was just like, you know what I mean? And so sometimes people do it for PR. And it takes guts to do it for real. Because can I be honest? People like silos. It keeps them comfortable. If we eat the same barbecue and we lick the same fingers, there's nothing about us that has to change. But when I'm around somebody else and they got a different way of operating, that's uncomfortable. And we don't like to be uncomfortable. And so we were really intentional our last gathering to try to create some diversity, and to see it in the room is great, not just ethnic-wise, but socioeconomic status-wise. Because one of the things I've noticed here is that there is a spirit of indifference where founders don't always have the right attitude about being around startups. And last time I checked, everybody had a divine gift. And you might not make 9 figures, but you might can help me with something. Can I get an amen? And so go ahead and look at the person next to you and just say, you have a divine gift. Go ahead and say that, yeah. Can you go over the rules? Totally. You do. You do. You've got something special. Look. They love the divine gifts over here. You got something special. And so tonight, as we discuss, I want, one of the things I'm telling the panelists is I want to run it like a panel, but I don't want to run it like a panel where the people sitting up here are the smartest people in the room.
No, we know.
I want to. Well, there. I want to run it like the smartest people in the room is everybody in the room. Okay. And so there's leaders because I trust them and I know them, but I value God's penmanship. And you are God's penmanship. He wove you so perfectly together. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And it means not that he was afraid when he made you, but he had reverence when he made you. He took his time and etched your big gap and your wide nose and your weird personality and that quirky thing that you don't even like about you. God was like, put that right there so you can do it. Like, I don't even like that when I cry, I look like an ugly, like tsunami hit me. I don't got cute tears. I don't got like one little, it looked like, but God wired me that way because there's something about seeing a strong black man cry that moves atmospheres. And he knew I would be called to this. So he wove you together specifically and intentionally. Go ahead and look at somebody else and just say, you bad. Nice. I want to give us some ground rules for our time today. Everybody say ground rules. Ground rules. Okay. Help me, please. Ground rule number 1 is breathe early, breathe deep, breathe often. Okay. Deep breath in, let it out. Okay. One thing I noticed when opposing opinions are being aired is that we get shallowness of breath. We hear somebody talking about something that we do not agree with, and we go. As if holding our breath is somehow shutting them up. It's not. It's just making us lightheaded. So if you feel that today, everybody deep breath in, let it out. Okay, number 2, suspend offense. Okay, I just say that. I was like, man, I don't want to make it seem like we just going to create controversy for controversy's sake. Like, we're not trying to just start riots and fights. But we also don't want to talk about surface level stuff that you could have just heard on the podcast. Like, we want to get into something, you know what I mean? And if that happens and you feel a little bit offended because somebody aired an opinion that you vehemently disagree with, just suspend offense. And then you can be offended when you leave. Deal? Can we do that? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the third one is this, focus on unity. Okay? At the end of the day, we are all on the same team. Mm-hmm. If I'm honest, I think that's one of the reasons why I've been under so much attack. Because our culture is so hypersensitive that we will cancel somebody before we ever have a conversation with them.
Yep.
Like, I had somebody who was my friend for 5 years who saw me go hang out at an entrepreneur event around somebody that they didn't feel was trustworthy, and they defriended me. Because I went to an event. Hypersensitive. And tonight, my agenda is to desensitize a hypersensitive culture. So remember, we're on the same team. That no matter how tense it might get, no matter how much you might disagree, that we all want the best for our children, the best for our families, the best for our communities, the best for one another. We just have different opinions on how we get there. And that's okay. Yeah. That's what makes greatness. So I invited these people to join me here on the panel let me talk about these 3 here. Because at our last event, I noticed that they were some of the main people taking the most amount of action. And and I had conversations with each. Let me just talk about them each really. Terry Weaver, okay? I had a conversation with him about community building, about storytelling, and I've been coached by some of the best storytellers in the world. Some of you might know Eric Thomas, Lisa Nichols, John C. Maxwell, Pat Quinn, if you know that name, Pete Vargas, lots of amazing, Bishop T.D. Jakes, lots of amazing communicators. And I had a 60 to 90 minute lunch with him. And I said, I will put Terry Weaver amongst the names I just mentioned. You know, like his ability to understand community and storytelling behavior change is world class. And so I was like, dude, like just come add value to the room. He's been building communities for years, speaking at stages all over the place. And I valued the fact that when I watched the testimonial, he said that my wife was a better speaker than me.
Yeah, Terry.
Now he lied. No, I'm kidding. But you need people in your life who love you enough to tell you when your breath stinks. Okay? And if you got everybody that's just yes and amening you and nobody actually say, you know what, bro, you need to talk less and let her talk more, like, you're not around the right people. You're not around the right people. Terry's one of the right people. So thank you for being courageous enough to speak the truth. That's why you're here. Amanda is my sister from another mister, okay? Number one, she white, but I'm telling you, she black on the inside.
Thanks.
She's a TEDx organizer, she's a coach, she's a strategist, she's a community leader, and she's connected me to about 50 to 60% of the people that I know in this area. So she's super connected, and she's super wise. I interviewed her on my podcast, and we just had a blast, and it's actually coming out next week. So y'all make sure y'all check out that episode, Seeding Greatness Podcast. Shameless plug. So that's why she's here. Okay. Megan was taking so much action, she couldn't be ignored. Okay. And it's a business lesson for us all, right? Like, take so much action that it's hard to ignore you. Right? Like, take so much action that somebody just like got to look around the algorithm in order to avoid seeing you. And that's exactly what's happening. I'm like, she keeps showing up on my feed. I'm like, what is happening? I find out she's doing like 10 posts a day. She got one of my clients doing 10 posts a day, and there's other people doing 10 posts a day. I'm like, Megan, oh my, come on to the panel. Whatever's working. She's posting data and insight. So I'll be honest with you. I don't even still to this day know exactly what you do. But you ever feel like I'm just gonna do something because my gut says it? Yeah. Megan's one of those people that my gut said, invite her to the panel because I noticed how much action she was taking, and let's just see if I was right or if I was wrong. I'm just kidding. I know she's amazing. Okay? So ask her questions about building communities and what she's doing with her social media challenge. LaShawn Merritt needs no introduction, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, 8-time world champion. Do I need to say any more? Okay? What I appreciate most is that he's a man of integrity and character, and he's a man of God, and you'll hear that in his story. And then, of course, my wife, the Queen of Trust. We run our business together, and we felt called to open this space because they say sometimes when you can't find what you're looking for, you have to build it. And so I want a place where I can talk about faith and business and not feel like I'm overly religious or not feel like I'm overly hungry for money. Can I get an amen? Amen. I want to talk about stuff that's real. Can I say this? I'll just say it. I want to talk about stuff that's real, not fictitious. I don't want to pray about stuff that I don't plan on doing anything about. Okay. All right, lost half the room. That's good. Suspend defense. Deep breath in. Let it out. Okay. And so that's what today is about. So I think I want to kick off the discussion with this is like the theme is no time to waste. Because if you're struggling in business, if you're struggling in life, the only reason why you're struggling is because you think you have more time than what you do. Mm-hmm. And so I want to just free for all to the panel, whoever wants to speak first, of like what in your life feels like you don't have time to waste? Like, where in your life do you have less patience because there's more urgency? I'd love to see if that resonates with anybody.
So I'll jump in. I have a sophomore in high school, and I think that as an entrepreneur and as a business leader, she is watching every single move that I make. And I think that we oftentimes don't think about how the people around us are being inspired and how they are inspiring us as well. So the no time to waste is like, she's a sophomore in high school. She's got 2.5 years before she graduates. I don't have time to waste to be a great example of what it looks like to actually work hard and inspire her, and also take note that even though she's 15 years old, like, she is my biggest teacher. And I think that's really important to think about, is how the people around us are actually like being very mindful of what we're doing and the urgency that we actually have to show them what they are capable of doing as well.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I met this kid after a school assembly in Lufkin, Texas. And I can't even tell his story without breaking, but his name was Joey. And Joey was a kid in a wheelchair. He said, nobody's ever came to my city to told me that I could dream, to told me that I could do or be anything I want to be. And so I'm in a place right now where I'm thinking a lot about who's going to go to Joey when I'm not here. And what are the consequences when we don't show up? When we sit around and doubt ourselves, and we sit around and don't take action, there's a Joey sitting in the back of a room somewhere waiting for you to show up. And if we're not taking the action that we're called to take, and that we've been given the gifts that we have, that someone else is missing out because we're not showing up. And so I feel a great deal of urgency, maybe just because I have a birthday ending with a 0 in a month, but I feel a great deal of urgency around just this idea that we don't have a lot of time to waste. You know, the world feels like it's on fire every day. There's a new something that should be freaking us out in the news every day. And for me, I can either double down on worrying, or I can double down on taking action about what I'm called to do.
That's so good.
You know, I can either watch the news and get obsessed with it, or get obsessed with what God called me to do and what he gave me to do. And for finding who the next Joey is, and who's going to go to the next Joey, who's going to make that impact. And to find the person that's not maybe discovered what their thing is, and help them really get laser focused so they can stop wasting that time.
So good. I want to hear from others, but I want to hear from y'all, like the audience, like when it comes to something, you know, your time being precious and you not having time to waste. What is that for you? Who in the room feels? Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's getting people reconnected to their relationship with God after the trauma that's been brought around, a lot of times, religion.
And why for you does that feel like it's urgent?
Because I think a lot of people are anchoring to things that are false, and when everything else is down in the storm, their fractured faith in God is present, then they get swept off their feet.
Skip that, sure, yeah. Come on.
I think something I've carried with me, especially in this season, we're about to turn 30, so I'm doing the shift of like new decade, new beginnings, you know, all those things. But one thing that I've really carried with me was something that I've heard recently in a service, which was each one of us are a word from God spoken only once. God spoke you into existence one time, and we're here on this earth to do more than just not sin. And there's something about our lives, there's something about each of our lives that God has ordained us to carry through that impacts people specifically gifted to you and called to you. So in my season now, I work with a ton of creatives especially, but also having that business drive has been more than what is my success goal, but what is my purpose in ministry, and feeling not the pressure, but the excitement of the urgency in that.
So, I want to come back to the panelists, and then I'll come back to some more from the audience. But I want to know, like, okay, I feel like we all have this thing, like, this is my thing, right? But if we're honest, even though we say there's a sense of urgency, we don't always live or move like there's a sense of urgency. Okay, I'll give you an example. I've been speaking for 12 years and have never consistently documented my footage from stages. And because I guess underneath I thought I had more time to waste, you know? And now I see the pace that things are moving. I think I just got frustrated that there's people that's less dope than me making more money than me. And I just said, I'm done with it. Like, I'm not, like the urgency in my heart to reach people is actually gonna meet the actions of me recording. That's why I got cameras here right now. I used to hate cameras when I speak because I was so worried about it ruining the intimacy in the room. Now I'm so connected to the impact of what can happen if they capture the essence of what happens in the room, and we can reach more people with this. And so I'm dealing with my own, personal safety and preference because of this urgency to get this message out there and to let people know there are authentic spaces where people are being vulnerable like this. And so for me, I'm looking for the panelists to lead. Like if you're honest, has there been areas of your life where you're not as urgent as you say you are?
Every area, if we're honest. Every area.
Any area.
I mean, I don't think there's every area. I think if every single one of us was being really honest with ourselves and with each other, I'm not urgent in every single area of my life. Like, that's just the truth. I don't even know what else to say. But I think that we do a lot of, I think we do a lot of thinking. I think we do a lot of dreaming. I think we do a lot of what-ifing. I think we do a lot of, we can see in our brains and in our minds, like, what this future life we want to look like. And if we kind of think back to, like, I'm in my 40s, but in my 30s and my 20s, it kind of hasn't changed. Like, what I thought my life was going to look like or what I wanted to look like. And it's like, okay, if I've been thinking about that and I can actually see it and I can see that version of myself, and I can see my kid in it, and I can see my husband in it, I can see my friends in it, what am I holding back on? Yeah. Like, what am I afraid of? What am I worried about that I'm not just doing that? And I think that we don't think enough about what we're actually losing by just staying where we are. It's like we're really, really good at maintaining status quo, and we kind of like will inch a little bit, and then something will happen, and then we become we become a little inconsistent. And so then it's sort of like this, we keep starting over. We keep starting over and over and over and over again while you're still waiting for that thing to happen, like it's just all of a sudden gonna happen. It's not all of a sudden gonna happen. We're the ones that have to create that. And I think once you actually, this is such a small and simple example, but Daryl brought it up. I'm posting 10 times a day right now on my social media. I'm not new to posting on social media. I've been posting on social media since 2011. I'm not new at that. I post every single day. I've never posted 10 times a day. I can't tell you how easy it is, how simple it is, how clear I am, how creative I am, but the coolest, and like all the opportunities that are happening like that, because I'm showing up. I'm on this panel, I guess, because I posted 10 times a day, but look what it did. Yeah. Look what that just did. Yeah. I knew
First of all, let me just say this. It was posting 10 times a day, but there was a resonance from the posting. Because you ever read somebody posting, you're like, stop posting 10 times a day, please. You know what I mean? Like, don't even post once a day. Don't post once a week. Don't post at all. You don't need to, just because you have a microphone don't mean you need to have an opinion.
Yes, so there has to be the resonance.
But what I heard when you posted was, hey, here's somebody, listen to this. Here's somebody who's practicing what they preach. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big statement because I know a lot of speakers who preach what they've learned, but not what they practice.
Yeah, big difference.
And there was an era where that worked really, really well. Terry, come on. There was an era where Sage from the Stage, like I have the information and I dissected it and I'm read a book per week. Remember the book per week kick? Like it's 75 hard now. It was like a book per week then, right? If you read a book per week, you were that deal, right? And it's like that's just because you read it and you can recite it, don't mean you got a depth of practice to help somebody else implement. Mm-hmm. And now this era that we're stepping into now, it's like people can sniff the inauthenticity. They can tell the lack of potency. They can, you ever heard of watered down Kool-Aid? People getting up there with this watered down Kool-Aid because they don't actually got no skill. Yeah. They just know how to AI prompt. So there was a resonance that like, no, she's actually practicing what she preached.
But, which, by the way, I'm not using ChatGPT to do all those posts. 10 posts a day. And I did that very intentionally. That was very, very purposeful to not use ChatGPT. And to your point, what I'm doing is I'm just documenting what I'm doing throughout the day. Not just like, oh, I'm drinking tea for lunch, not that. But it's like, what kind of conversations are you having with your clients? What questions are they asking you? What are you teaching your clients? And if you are actually doing the thing that you're helping people with, you never run dry of anything to talk about. But what I wanted to say, the coolest thing about posting 10 times a day that I've noticed, like it's not even, I've gotten a number of great opportunities. I've gotten clients from it, blah, blah, blah. The coolest part has been every single day, I am seeing a new person either comment on my post or send me a private DM saying, I've been watching you. You're inspiring me. Word for word, every single person has said that. I'm so inspired by you. I'm gonna do it too. I've been waiting. I've been watching you for 5 days. I've been watching you for 2 weeks. I'm gonna do it too. Then here's the other cool part. I see them posting and I'm following them, and then other people are making comments on their posts. Oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by you.
So
I'm
good.
gonna do, I have chills. I'm gonna do it too. And what that has shown me is that people are so afraid to take any kind of action. They are so afraid, and they're sitting around waiting for somebody to do what you just said, which is take the action, because people are not doing what we say, they're doing what we do. That's been my greatest lesson for this. I coach people and consult all day, every day. I love to tell people what to do. Former teacher, you love to tell people what to do. But they don't do it.
No.
Because they don't see you doing it.
Come on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many heart-centered leaders or servant leaders are in the room? Come on. How many of you are putting oxygen masks on other people before you put them on yourself? That's what we're talking about here, right? Is like to live, to breathe, to grow a business, like you have to put oxygen on yourself. And we've been told, I've been told my whole life, you have to serve others. Show up and serve others. And yes, that is part of why we do what we do. But if you don't put the oxygen mask on yourself before you feed other people or put the oxygen mask on other people, what's gonna happen? And I see this so often with people that have been told you need to serve other people, your work is so helpful to other people, but they're not willing to take the oxygen themselves. It's okay to take the oxygen. Like I tell myself this all the time because I will open doors for other people and forget that I even exist. Anybody else? Come on, all my heart-centered leaders here. But for us to do what we do, we have to be mindful that we exist as well.
I see you bubbling up.
Yep.
About what? I have something that could relate to, what are we talking about at first? Not procrastination, but
Consistency.
the urgency.
Modeling urgency. Urgency.
Well, in my life right now, retired 3 years, I've noticed that it was a set of core values that really guided my success. And although the world may see my outer accomplishments, the medals and the records, my inner accomplishments of how I handled my successes, what I really take pride in. And understanding now that I'm outside of my daily bubble of gym, track, chiropractor, everything that entails, I realize how important it is to become a champion in life, and I understand everyone can become a champion in life. And it's about creating these habits and controlling your environment and being mindful, being grateful, intentional in the things that you do, and putting yourself in a position to just be your best self daily. That's what made me a champion. And that's what I push really to the young people today. My mom's a teacher. She just retired this year. So I've always had to go into the schools and show the medals and be this person of good character. And I oftentimes come across athletes that want to ask me about the medals or the Olympics. And I always tell them, yeah, those are the high achievements, but you have to become a high performer first. You have to understand how to get through that daily regimen and create these championship habits. And a lot of them think they have a lot of time on their hands. And I let them know, the older you get, the faster time flies. And you're young right now, so just go ahead and I love the fact that when I can show up in these spaces and places that they respect the messenger. So the fact that I have their attention and I can really pour what made me a champion from the root into them, I let them know that there's no time to waste. The time is now to figure out who you are and like that match inside, because time flies and it's not guaranteed. So that's my sense of purpose and urgency to push the message that we all can become champions in life, and it starts with the person in the mirror.
So good, so good. I want to touch on that, but I want to go back to something Amanda was saying, because I want to solicit the room for quick tidbits of solutions to that, because I think a lot of people can relate to caring for other people more than themselves. I think we all can quote it: "Put your own oxygen mask on first," but it's easier preached than practiced, right? Because it's like we're always busy. So I'm curious, like what are y'all actually doing to put your air mask on first? Like I'll be honest, I wrote a book on it, but it's still not my predominant mode of being. Like, I'm a former athlete and I don't know how to turn it off a lot. So I'm curious, like, what works really well. Go ahead. You look like
yoga.
It's like me.
I have a question. I have
Yeah.
a really great question that relates
Oh, okay.
to it.
Yeah.
Because for me, I actually noticed that I can't operate any other way. When you invite God into your work, God manages your books. So if I'm not in a place to serve people at the highest, if I'm burnt out, if I'm tired, if I'm on the fringes, people will just drop off my books, and no matter how hard I call, but then I sit, I pray, I meditate, I go out in nature, and I reconnect, and all of a sudden the phone starts ringing again, and people start rescheduling. So when in the room too, my question to you all is, how do you maintain that urgency when there's got to be a divine stillness and God's telling you to put your mask back on?
I love what you just brought up, because I can feel it. Like, we can talk about urgency all day, and then we can go read self-care books and get into our spiritual practice, and you can't. No, it's me and it's the Lord, and you're not going to rush me anywhere. But wait, there's divine urgency. So what am I supposed to do? There's this tension, right? And it's not to be fought. It's just to find the rhythm in the tension. I think if we keep our foundations first, right? Like, whatever that looks like for y'all, y'all's faith can take whatever shape or form you need it to take. But for me, it's like, if I have that space in the morning and it's me and God and I'm hearing and it's quiet and I'm journaling and I'm reflecting, there's this centered place that I can move into the urgency with. And now I'm flowing with the current that he's leading me through versus the current like tossing me from side to side, right? And doors will open, people will pick up the phone, the email will come through that you've been waiting on, and you could have emailed that lady 7 times, but the minute you get your foundations and those priorities back in place, I think doors, they open. But to allow the rhythm to carry you and not be like tossed by this like, I need to hurry up and like muster up the urgency. You can't create it. It's a very divine thing, in my opinion. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Well, for any all thing on that, this is helping me think. This is like a current challenge I have, right? Where like you have this discipleship as well as like discipleship factor and wanting to help people, all these things. What's coming to mind for me, and just as we talk about athletes, the idea of like where's our heart centered, both as like a physical and emotional standpoint, and then from that, then making those 100 calls or doing those things, right? And if I'm burnt out from making those things and taking those actions, well, hey, I might need this thing called rest or Sabbath. And so through that, I think for me, I'm interpreting that, and just to share, it's like a yes and, where it's like, yes, make those things, run those 12 miles, do that stuff from the right heart posture with the right heart health.
Oh, so good. That's good. Come on. Yeah, give it up for that. That's good. That's good. That's good. I just want to say, like, I hate the word piggyback, but I want to emphasize something because the setting of the heart is a business principle that I think I can equate to 50, 60% of my sales, right? Like I learned this from a coach of ours. She was like, set your intention first. And I was like, I know how to do sales. Nobody wants to sit there and go like, what's my intention? But I was being coached and paying a lot of money. And so I was like, gotta listen. I want to be coachable and teachable. And I was like, okay, what's my intention? And I'm like, what is my intention? Hold on. Well, I don't know. Let me think about who I'm talking to for a second.
Right.
Let me look at their social. Let me see what they're carrying into the space. Mm-hmm. What's my intention? You see the difference?
Yes.
Okay. And so I just wanted to be like, yo, that's a power move, bro, because it's changed my life to do that first. So totally. I saw a couple other hands over here. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
So I just remembered my dad always says that life's like a roll of toilet paper. The quicker you get to the end, the faster it goes. And one of the things that I do continuously is people don't like to hear this, it's uncomfortable, but I put myself at the end of my life, I visualize myself on my deathbed, and I ask myself, am I happy with what I've done? Have I been a contribution to my own life and to the life of the people who surround me? And it's, at the beginning, it's a little tough to reckon and to put yourself there and say, oh my God, I'm running out of time. And you start feeling that urgency. But then you get into a habit and you start riding a wave and you're like a surfer. When you get on that wave, when you're on that wave in that perfect timing. And when you try to rush things, you are going to get pulled under every single time. So a lot of how I choose to intentionally live my life is to really be conscious of where in the wave I find myself at each moment, because you're in a different place at every moment. And when you learn to interact and dance with life a little bit more, it becomes a lot more pleasurable. You are able to be more present with the people that you love, and you're able to give more of yourself because you're full. At one point in my life, I was what I called gived out. I gave so much to everybody else, and touching on what Amanda was saying. And I found myself, I had nothing left to give. I didn't even want to keep living on this life. I was like, okay, finding ways to off myself. And then some magical things happened, and I'm still here. But it just created an awareness of where am I today, and stop looking to the past so that I get off the hamster wheel, because we run on this hamster wheel, we've become human doings instead of human beings. And then life has a tendency of slapping you off that hamster wheel real fast, and you find that you've gone nowhere. And so when you become very grounded in who you really are, start doing things that bring you joy for the sake of experiencing joy. Then you become joyful, and then people want to come to you because you're fun. Instead of being complaining about everything that's going wrong in the world, which right now we can all sit here and cry.
So you said something really powerful that I don't think is practiced in the art of business as much as it is in sports. I was a gymnast, so I was a high-level competitive gymnast. Where are my former athletes? Okay, so the art of visualization is so critical. That is so under-talked about in business, but it is a normal practice in sports. Like, the preparation goes in when you go to compete. So I'll never forget it. I was so young, but I was waiting to get up for balance beam, and you would run through your routine in your head. You would even use body movements to do that. And I think that visualization is something that is not talked about in preparation for business like it is in high performance sports. Like LaShawn, did you do, like, visualization was just a natural practice. So, like, why is this not an art that is taught in all of us in business? Does anybody practice the art of visualization in business? It is so critical. Like, it's critical. And it goes into exactly like what you're talking about, right? As having, practicing, purpose, plan, moving into a routine, or like, what are you gonna actually try to accomplish? If you fall off the beam, great. You know how to get back up and keep things moving forward. And it's when you said visualization, that's immediately what came to mind.
What is that tactically like, though? Like, how do you approach
Yeah.
like, visualization within business?
So I can jump in. Does somebody else want to jump in?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
So I teach my clients to visualize the outcome that they are looking for with any, so for example, if they have a meeting that they're worried about or they have to let somebody go, have them visualize the whole process, even walking into the room, visualize the room that they would intentionally do it in, with intention.
So like a 5-second thing, 5-minute thing.
You can do it depending on what the situation is, you can do it at any point. And what I like to get my clients to do is to get to a place where they can do it with their eyes open. That's a great point.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
So I want to keep the hot topics hot because I'm a disruptor.
Yes.
And I
I was going to ask. I said, Terry, what's something that we're not saying that we should be right now?
And I heard a great deal of cheering around, like, let's not use AI. Let's, we've made AI a villain. Let's talk about it for a minute.
Yep.
Salesforce laid off 4,000 people yesterday and replaced them with AI bots. That's 4,000 moms and dads that went home last night that had to tell their spouse or their kids, their child away at college, that the financial situation was changing. And so we can run from AI all we want, but it's here. And we've made it, to be, there's so much more of it. I watched a high-level entrepreneur this weekend release a custom GPT. Taki Moore, if anybody follows him. I think you commented on the thread.
Yeah.
And it was about avatars and niches.
The one that he put out there, yeah.
And I went down the rabbit hole. Anybody else see something want to go down the rabbit hole? I went down the rabbit hole this weekend, and I taught about it in my mastermind about the mindset shift that I've had around what AI could do if it's used well. Yeah. And you can either harness it to use it for you, or you can be scared that it's working against you. Yeah. And it's not just like turning yourself into a Simpsons character. For me, I'm a communicator. I'm also a communicator that's a night owl. There aren't a lot of good people to talk to at 1:30 in the morning when you have an idea. And here's the deal. One of my heroes, I got to meet with him. I brought them in for a conference. New York Times best-selling author. He was from LA. I was like, I'll take you anywhere you want to go. He's like, of course, he wanted to go to Cracker Barrel because he was from the South. And he started to unpack his life. And I realized the consequences that come with a calling. Because I thought I wanted his life. But I learned the price that he was paying to live his life. The sleepless nights, the waking up with ideas. Everybody wants good ideas until they get you out of bed at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, say that again,
And so
boy.
I would encourage you to take some time and invest in a language model. Pick one, Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT. Talk to it, invest in it, learn how to use it, find people, ask people. I was the same way many of you that were like, oh man, because I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, but I have a lot of wackadoodle ideas. And I'm also learning everywhere I go. I mean, Mike and I went to go see Mike Brennan, who's here tonight, and you may see him sketching or whatever, but taking pictures or whatever. He's just a creative guy. He's always doing stuff. And he's watching Superman because it's Superman. And I'm writing a talk. I'm writing my conference opening keynote, watching, Lex Luger and Superman have a conversation, right? And if I didn't take that to ChatGPT and almost dump my luggage at the front desk, I would have not slept for days, legitimately, because the idea needed somewhere to rest. And I literally just typed into ChatGPT, saw this movie, I think it's my keynote. Here's a quote I saw. Help me process this tomorrow. Totally. Close laptop lid, couple of days later, picked it back up, continued the conversation. I've been writing talks since I was 12. So I don't have a problem writing a talk. But what I do have a problem with is a lot of ideas that need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So let's be real careful. I know we want to make AI a villain, and I know my boy Daryl over here is like, oh man, you got to be careful that that your ChatGPT's not. You got to be careful that ChatGPT's not writing checks that you can't catch.
Yep.
You know, and so.
Yep.
But if you actually, it's like anything. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. If you sit down and type, write me a post about mindfulness, it's going to write you a post about mindfulness. It's going to be a pile of feces. Or if you say, here's something I'm learning. Here's something I've experienced. Here are 3 words, Here's my 3 ideas. Help me organize these thoughts better. And then when it spits it out, then go and do your magic to it. Then you might have something amazing. It'll have your fingerprints all over it.
Yes, so thank you, because I think that it can be an amazing tool.
Yes.
But you're modeling for us this ability to have some self-control around it. You're like, I'm still the human. I'm using you as a tool, right? But it can be really easy to get lazy.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you approach that? Because it could be like, ooh, that was kind of sexy. I'll just take that and throw it over here. And it's like, but hold up, my words have weight. So I'm going to have some self-control around how I steward this new tool. And because you're now going back and refining, right? And you're being mindful about how you're using it. So what does that look like for you?
So one thing, and then I'll kind of go off of it. Your words have weight. I'll never forget Andy Stanley telling this story that he preached about one Sunday, that he taught his congregation about integrity and having integrity. And he said he woke up to a call when he got in the office. I walked in his office, the secretary was like, so-and-so's here, and they're about to turn themselves into the IRS because of the message you preached yesterday for tax evasion. And in that moment, he's like, my words have weight. So you got to understand what you say matters. But if you are using, I think of ChatGPT this way. You guys know Gay Hendricks' Zone of Genius, the 4 quadrants. There's a lot of things that I can do and I know how to do, and I'm even really good at doing, but that doesn't mean I should do it. I hate writing sales copy.
Oh God.
Right? So if I can have ChatGPT write sales copy based on my avatar and my manifesto and my branding and all the things that matter to me, that's a great use of my time. I'm not going to have it write, my obituary, right? I'm not going to have it do things that matter deeply.
So let me argue the affirmative, okay? Who's any lawyer in the room? Is there a lawyer? Is that the right term? Is it the affirmative? What's the opposite? How do I argue the opposite?
The competing.
Sure.
The opposing view. And I'm not saying, Daryl, I'm not using it to write a book.
No, totally. So, but what I'm getting is it's the thing you just sent me, right? She sent me this thing of
You always
this.
send 8 memes to your spouse waiting on them.
Right.
To
Or she get on this kick where she's scrolling, then she got to send me everything that's just because she interested in. I'm like, man, come on,
because
man.
it's important.
It's not. Stuck. So, anyways, she sent me this woman who lost her son to suicide because he was in a conversation with ChatGPT and ChatGPT endorsed it. So it's I the thing that I resonate with, as you said, is I use it because my ideas need a place to land too. I am convinced God sent me ChatGPT. I was because I was going crazy before, and I don't feel I tell every day I'm ready to build $1 billion empire, and so. But then I see something like that, and I couldn't even. And the lady posted the thread, and I couldn't even read the thread. I said, "Don't send me nothing like that." I'm because I can't even read. I have a suicide survivor, so I was getting triggered of listening to how it's endorsing this behavior, and I'm man, that's the danger. So to me, I think that's people's real concern over are you writing your copy or not? I think it's yo, where's the ethics in this? And the governance in this, because this is the situation that happens. Yeah.
Definitely a great new interesting conversation, but I do question about when people start putting guardrails on things, because we don't know the programming or what was, like, if you try and double check what it's saying, like, if you understand where I'm going with this, like, I can put something in place and you wouldn't even notice it, and you're just being guided just a little bit, and you don't even know it. So you're being manipulated. I'm not saying that I don't dislike ChatGPT, but I do want to be cognizant that when people are putting in these boundaries or this or that, that there is a possibility that we could be being manipulated.
I remember when, do you guys know who Donald Miller is?
Yeah.
Donald Miller had a book called Blue Like Jazz. It was very controversial. And I remember going into Lifeway when it was up here where Duluth Trading Company is in Franklin. And there was a note on the front that I should use discretion when reading this book. And I went to the manager and I was like, you freaking moron. Every book in here that I should use discretion when reading this book. Because I don't know that person. I don't know if it's the truth that's contained in that book. And so I think with anything, you've got to use your own discretion. And for me, this might weird some of you out. I think ChatGPT is like a bank account. If you tell it about you, if you invest if you tell it, I've had it interview me. It knows my bio. It's read my book, and I tell it to pull from those things. But mostly I'm just using it like ping pong. I'm not trying to get it to the last thing I had to do was we're looking at doing a tour. And I said I wanted to rank the demographics in this city. That's not something I need to be doing with my time. Where's the top 10 small business communities between 750 miles of Nashville and 750 miles of Orlando? Where are they at? I'm not going to Google that. That'll take me days. But ChatGPT can do that for me. And so, I think it's like anything. You've got to use your mind. And if you just take what you get, don't check it, don't go back and read it,
Anybody got AI remark? Come on, brother. Come on. Oh, here, and then I know she's been waiting. Yep. So sorry. Yep.
I just want you to know I'm going to send you my doctor's bill because you stepped on my toes. People think a lot and don't do enough.
Yeah.
I'm coming from corporate America, entering the entrepreneur space, and it's been a challenge. And I'm a thinker. So when you said that, I was like, oh, she's just stepping right on my and I moved her from New York. But what you said prompted me to think about, there's a rapper, he's a gospel rapper named Brother Oz. And he wrote a song, and it's called, the theme was, don't go to your grave and die empty with all of these thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you said that, I just said, oh, she's just hitting me all over. So I'm just letting you know, I'm going to send you a bill. That's what I struggle with. Corporate America is different than
So I come from corporate.
Really wanted
to
be successful. And so I'm kind of in that space where I can retire and take care of my grandkids and all of that stuff. But I just thank you. It was a word of encouragement to me. So.
Good. We needed that. That was a good break to that combo. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I love the fact that you're actually taking your day and doing something different. When the comment was made about the ChatGPT and her not using it, I applauded that because I think that entrepreneurs as a whole, whether you're a founder, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're relying on something else, okay, but you're using it wisely. What I'm hearing, you're using it extremely wisely. But how many of us in this room have used ChatGPT, typed something in, copied and pasted it, and put it into our social media, and used it for weeks or months, and used the same thing over and over again, and you're not getting the results. You're getting results. And that's what I applauded for. So I appreciate and I understand that there is a use and a vitality that is different by using our own words versus words that have been used or made by a computer, even if it's based off of our own thoughts and our own interviews. So I would love a really quick survey, just put your hand up. It's like, have you ever used ChatGPT and just copied and pasted all the crap that came up with it? Oh, yeah. How much was it? Yeah, we've all done it.
Never do.
Yeah. Did it go anywhere? No. So what you're doing is phenomenal, and I hope that everybody in this room does take you up on that and do something different, because if you do the posts with your own voice, your tone, you're creating that tone by using ChatGPT. Everybody in this room should be creating that tone with your own voice, not caring what the rest of the world has to say, because if you use your voice, you will stand out beyond measure.
Can I have a unity moment real quick? 'Cause I want to unify. So I'm like dying to say this.
Come on, man.
So there's two things. I want to talk to my corporate friend. I come from corporate background as well. I believe entrepreneurship is like one of the greatest forms of self-discovery that you can ever endure, first off. Second off, this is the unifying moment. Like how Terry views ChatGPT is different than how I view it, which is different than Megan. We all have different views on how it could benefit us. Two things. One, you got to kind of know what it does. Like as a business owner, as a leader, this is technology moving in. We have to understand what it does. Two, it is our choice on how we're going to leverage it. And three, we are not here to judge other people based on how they're using it. We can love them. We can say, look, we don't necessarily agree, but we can still love you and appreciate you and support you anyway.
Yeah, and I use ChatGPT every single day.
I see it, yeah.
It's not writing my content for me though, that I'm posting like what you're saying. And the reason why it was a very conscious decision. I use ChatGPT every day for all sorts of things in my business. I do a lot of consulting, all this, it does a lot for me. Like it's another brain. But I was using it a lot to write a lot of my posts. And I was getting a very like dud result, but also dud feeling on the inside. And I followed that. I really felt like I was cutting God off. I did. And that could be just me not knowing how to use it. Whatever. But I had to get back to getting an idea and being able to write about it from in here. And not putting it through any kind of filter. And I had to do that for me. That was just a choice that I needed to make.
It's good. I want to hit Jenny and then Mr. Husband over here, and then I'm gonna facilitate something different for us. Okay, so let's go. Yep.
Jenny Ray, actually, just double check. It's double.
Oh, don't forget the Ray. My bad. Jenny Ray. Jenny Ray.
So
Thank you.
I actually am gonna swing the conversation because I have a question for LaShawn.
Yeah,
That's
come on.
okay. Because you're just an expert in a whole nother league. So I want to kind of caveat this before I ask the question is. One of the urgency things for me has been really engaging a conversation that I feel like is a different, we brought it up tonight, but another dangerous conversation in the market is we've villainized hustle and hard work and have swung it so far over here to rest and peace as if they're two just like, we can't have both, right? So I love what you were saying, Brittany, about being able to step in that flow and work from a place. And so one of the urgency things for me is a book that I've been in the process of writing for 19 years. And I started the book after my husband and I had a son that passed away in a crib that was recalled a year later by Fisher-Price. And it was a tragedy that thrust us into a whole different journey. And out of that place, I was a Division I athlete. We launched businesses, and from that place of performance, that performance pattern that I knew of excellence and hard work and hustle and put your head down and that's how you power through, I'd learned that pattern as a little girl, and so when it came to business, it was just normal to do it and to couch it under excellence, to couch it under this is just what I'm doing, is excellence. But, so I'm bringing it back to that conversation because the way that I have learned over the last 20 years of this process is you judge a tree by its fruit. Part of what's going in this book is 3 types of toxic hustle: stress, scarcity, and trauma. And if your hustle is manifesting fruits of stress, fruits of lack and scarcity, fruits of trauma patterns that you are trying to actually heal yourself through your work, it's never going to heal yourself. You're just transmitting it. You're whatever you don't heal, you transmit. You just keep it going. And so we were in a conversation. I'm saying all that to say, one of the big things for me, Ephesians 2:8 and 9, we're not working. Are you working for it or from it. And, Ephesians 2:8-9, we're not working for our salvation, for all these amazing things, we're working from it, but we forget verse 10 all the time. Ephesians 2:10, it says 3 times in there, you were saved to do good works, so that you could do these good works. It's talking about doing. So in the market, I think we are so afraid of now hustle that we swung it over here and we are underperforming now.
Oh,
and we've got doers who are like terrified of doing when we have been made to do good works. And it's just the place it's coming from.
Yeah.
What is it coming from? And so we were chatting beforehand. I had the privilege of just getting to hear a little bit of your story. And you made this comment that just struck me. You said you worked your entire life for this thing. You're sitting on the blocks. And so we have an elite son runner who's a distance runner, totally different. If he's running tons of distance, he has time to make mistakes and make up for them. You're a 400 runner. You don't have a single second to make a mistake. And you made this comment that if you flinched, every ounce of your training and preparation is gone.
Yeah.
So I would just love to hear from you, because you have a perspective that I think we could all benefit from as you're hearing this conversation. And when you think about excellence and championship mindset, which is something God's put in you for the world to hear about, help us not be afraid. Help us not flinch where we lose everything that's been put inside of us for God to unleash in us to run our race, and not be so scared of like, oh no, we're going to hustle ourselves into the ground. I just would love to hear you engage this conversation.
You know what? It made me think about you got to live it to believe it. And a lot of that was understanding how important being present is. And there's a certain type of muscle memory, a certain type of training that we would do where it is around intentionality, understanding that things aren't going to go perfect, but understanding how to pivot, having these habits and tools in your arsenal, tools as far as just understanding how to breathe and calm yourself. Or the biggest thing in my life that I went through when I retired was not being afraid to ask for help. And a lot of people are afraid to ask for help. And you don't know what you don't know. And when I feel like, when you reference the blocks, she was talking about there's sensors on the blocks. And when you get into the position, if you move or give any type of force or anything on the pad that your foot is on, you get disqualified. And it's not a situation where we train to not flinch. I wonder if some people do, but I didn't train to not flinch. It was just when I got into the blocks, I had already did my visualization. I already knew everything I needed to do, and I knew this starting point was the most crucial. So when I was in the blocks and paralleling it to life and not flinching, I feel like the way you prepare is so important. Like I always talk about preparation. The power of preparation, the proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are my P's. And I feel like you have to not only know why you're doing what you're doing. I was a big how type of person. When I was in training, it was always, I knew what I needed to do, but when I understood the how, I could dial it in more than just physically. It was mental now, and I could really home in on executing. Like in my sport, some people trained and built confidence off of the repetitions. Just I went through the reps, now it's time to perform. Now I'm confident. What separated me was being really intentional in the preparation so that I wasn't competing. I don't even like to compete. Like I'm just not a natural competitor, but I'm an executor. So I understood how important the preparation was in that. And
so let me, because this is good, because the way I heard it through the story that we heard at lunch was the last 100 of your race. And I want you to kind of describe the importance of the last 100 of the 400 and that sort of what you described it as, like you and the next guy and how small the margin of error is. And one of the reasons why I want you to touch on that is because it is the very nature of what we're talking about, of the combination between like urgency and stillness, because there was like no wasted movement, right? So I would love to hear that.
So the 400 is one complete lap. And the hardest part of that 400 is the last 100. That's where they call it the critical zone. That's where they say the monkey jumps on your back and everybody starts to lose form. That's where you're the most stressed. But that's a place where you have to rely on the basics of everything. It's at that point, the person who makes the first wrong move usually loses. And we're redlining, we're tired, we're fatigued, and someone's right beside you, and you feel like this like gravitational pull of any slight movement I make is not the optimum position, so I'm losing time. And that space becomes really dialed in, not really looking at the finish line, because then you deal with depth perception. You start to rush to get there. And it's all about taking it a step at a time. And I actually teach like the last 15 meters of the 400, I push gratitude. It's like, just be grateful for having this opportunity, being in this space, and take it all the way through the line. And it is about who can stay in that flow and stillness state the most, but still be really ferocious inside.
That's so good. Yeah.
And pull out that grit or whatever it takes to get through, but not lose form. And I guess that people also deal with similar situations in life, not really running, but the weight of the world can feel like the wrong moves will throw me off so much. And it's really understanding yourself. I ran a lot in the mirror, a lot of mirror runs, but I realized now that I was not only just looking at my form and technique, but I was looking into my soul and really dialing in what it looks like, what I need it to feel like when I'm the most stressed. Because training in track and field, the practice is stress adaptation. So we train every day to build thresholds to understand how to adapt to stress. And then the competitions become stress management. You only got to do it one time then. But learning from that stress adaptation, it teaches you a lot. And those things have carried into the real world for me.
That's so good.
So good.
Right.
I don't get no snaps, I get a clap.
Love it. Y'all, listen, this is great. We can keep it up all night. I can feel it. I know it's getting long with this convo. Let's close it this way, okay? Find somebody who you haven't talked to yet and tell them what is your biggest takeaway, and then what are you going to move with more of a sense of urgency about in your life, okay? So what's your biggest takeaway from the discussion, and then what are you going to move with more of a sense of urgency
I think
about?
you had the last. You had something?
I just had two simple, I was going to wrap yours up with, our two most powerful things we can deploy in the world is possibility and our perspective. You know, you close sales by possibility. You close sales because people see that, oh, she can post 10 times a day. I can probably do that. And our perspective, especially in an AI-driven world, especially in a world where we don't know what's real and fake. It's why I do live events. It's why I prioritize being at things like this. Because we can fake a lot, but we can't fake this. And our perspective is what we really have. It's our true ability to bring who we are to the conversation. And so don't let anybody ever underestimate your perspective and what you bring, because there's somebody out there seeing what's possible because of the action you're taking.
I needed that.
That's good. So Terry just wanted to be the number one takeaway, y'all. So find somebody who you haven't talked to yet. Tell them what your biggest takeaway is and what's one thing you're going to move with a greater sense of urgency with.
We got 10 minutes? Oh,
yeah. Leave?